question. You can't. What do you do with the baby oil? Do you just slip and slide on each other?
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. When he had to go on his hiatus, he tell me, Cat, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner, you my brother in comedy. When I promise me that my next movie, it'll be me and you. You know, we get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's House too. I almost died.
A lot of my friends ask me, they say, Dave, did you know anything about those free golf parties? I'd be like, nah, man. I don't know anything about free golf.
He lost $50 million. No, that's not even close to what happened to this dude. And until you understand what happened to the dude, you don't understand what happened. Like, no, not they offered him $50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down $50 million? Because P. Diddy be wanting to buy it. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
So Martin Lawrence and Dave Chappelle finally started throwing shade at Diddy in their stand-up routines. But fans are now wondering, how much did those two really know about what was going on at those Diddy parties? Dave made fun of Diddy back in the day on Chappelle's show, especially over making the band. But after that, he stayed quiet for years. Then in the early 2000s, he had that crazy situation where he turned down a $50 million deal and escaped to Africa without telling anyone. He later said he needed to get away from the industry because it was getting too dark. But here's the weird part. Shortly before Cassie filed that lawsuit against Diddy in 2023, Dave was seen having dinner with him. And that timing had people asking a lot of questions. Now, as for Martin, he also recently started cracking jokes about baby oil and Diddy's weird behavior. But let's not forget, he had that incident in the 90s where he ran into traffic screaming, "They're trying to kill me." And after that, he kind of toned it down. Martin used to be way more outspoken and critical of the industry, but now he mostly toes the line and sticks to safe jokes about baby oil. Then there's what Cat Williams said. He alleged that Martin became one of the Hollywood gatekeepers and even claimed Martin tried to pressure him into wearing his first dress for a movie role. So now fans are left wondering, were Dave and Martin just staying in their own lanes and avoiding drama, or were they closer to the situation than they let on and just kept quiet until it was safe to speak up? Let's break it down.
Can you imagine if you were me reading the newspaper and found out everyone in Hollywood had an orgy behind your back? Like, none of y'all called me? Well, it really hurts.
All right, let's start with Martin Lawrence, because fans have been pointing out for a while now that something seems different about him. He used to be one of the loudest voices calling out the industry, but now it feels like he's just playing it safe and going along with the system without saying much. Now, Martin did recently start joking about Diddy in his stand-up, but he's not really exposing anything or even hinting at the bigger picture. It's just the same old baby oil jokes we've heard a million times.
And I just want to know who needs that much baby oil? Who needs that much baby oil in bulk? Who buys baby oil in bulk? You can't with it. You give her a bacteria infection. What you do, play slip and slide on your body?
And if you check out what Martin's fans are saying on social media, a lot of them seem pretty disappointed. And some are even convinced that something changed with Martin. And it seems he gave in to the same industry system he used to speak out against.
Yeah, man, oh man. Look at all these white people. No, I mean, I guess this ain't the Def Jam, right? So I guess I better be cool, huh? I got some black folks out there to back me up, though. Got to talk about some things. The daggone censors are following me everywhere around, which they get off my oops, damn, did I slip? It's bothering me, man. You know, you can't say this, you can't say that. I'm like, well, how am I going to talk about the world you living in? Right now, you can't really drive down the street. Still exists. We got to admit it. People, we don't speak to each other, and we are lunching. We're pulling, taking each other, and this world ain't supposed to be like this. This is all wrong. We fight, and we're fighting for the wrong things. Everybody measures success in having a car, having a big house, but success is measured in your happiness. Because if you ain't happy, it don't mean a damn thing.
So compared to that old Martin, this new one is like a whole different person. And no, it's not just his age, it seems like something else is going on. One fan said, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. This man submitted to everything the Hollywood community had for him. Everything. You know it, I know it. That's why he's so broken now. And someone else wrote, this was painful to watch. As a big fan, I'm smiling, prepared to laugh at any punchline. But he is no longer funny. Haven't been since the early 2000s. So what happened to Martin? Sure, he got older, and he's also dealt with multiple health issues over the years, but some fans are speculating that the real shift happened after that infamous incident when Martin had a public breakdown and claimed someone was out to get him. This all went down in May 1996 when Martin was arrested after he was seen wandering through a busy street in LA, waving a gun and screaming, "They're trying to kill me." Right away, the tabloids jumped on it and labeled him as some out-of-control addict. But Martin later spoke up and said they totally exaggerated his substance use. And then came the stories claiming he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. But according to Martin, that was all made up too. They made a lot of things up to sell a better story, Martin said at the time. You don't know what it's like until you've been through it. And then Dave Chappelle later talked about this incident in his 2006 interview on The Oprah Show, where he explained why he turned down that $50 million contract and escaped to Africa. Dave mentioned Martin and several other celebrities who seemingly had a breakdown after signing a huge deal and moving on to the next level of fame.
I'm fine. I'm glad you're here. Everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million?
Well, I wasn't walking away from the money.
Yeah.
I was walking away from the circumstances that were coming with the newfound plateau.
Yeah.
It takes a while when you punch through to adjust to the atmosphere. It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When
you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see before, look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving the street screaming, "They're trying to..."
Yeah. Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
So now fans are wondering if Martin took a big deal to protect his career or if he was genuinely scared for his safety and chose to stay quiet and play it safe. I mean, if you check out some of Martin's recent interviews, it's like the total opposite of that bold, outspoken Martin from the 90s. In fact, in a recent interview on The Breakfast Club, Martin was asked about those long-running Illuminati rumors and the whole men in dresses thing that Cat Williams had been calling out for years. But Martin brushed it off, saying it was all nonsense. He claimed he wore dresses strictly for comedy and didn't have a problem with it because he's secure in his masculinity. But what really sparked debate was when he said that those characters were meant to represent strong black women. And you know that did not sit right with a lot of people because, let's be honest, most of those roles were over-the-top stereotypes, not exactly respectful or empowering portrayals of black women.
One to two, but growing up, you know, watching you play Shanae, watching you in Big Mama's house, I never thought anything of it. I just thought it was funny. But nowadays, you hear people say, "Oh, you know, you got to sell your soul in Hollywood, and that's humiliation rituals and the Illuminati."
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
It's all doing what I do and doing Big Mama and characters like that, Shanae or whatever. These are strong black women, you know, and I'm a comedian, you know, and I'm not above playing a character, putting on a dress or whatever, because I'm in tune with my manhood, you know, so I know who I am, so I don't worry about all that.
But here's the wild part. Martin's situation isn't a one-off. Fans are starting to notice a pattern because every time a celeb speaks out or gets a little too close to exposing how things really work in Hollywood, whether it's Martin, Dave Chappelle, Kanye, or Jamie Foxx, they suddenly end up with some mysterious illness or get labeled as crazy. And it's happening way too often to ignore. Now, as far as Dave Chappelle, his story is even more confusing, and fans aren't really sure what to make of his transformation. And one of the reasons fans are now side-eyeing Dave is because because he recently started taking shots at Cat Williams, even though Cat has never had a bad word to say about Dave. After Cat's Club Shay Shay interview went viral, Dave called him out, saying he was throwing other black comedians under the bus. But that's the weird part. Cat never even came for Dave in that interview. In fact, he actually praised him and said that Dave was one of the few comics he really respects. When Shannon asked Cat about Dave walking away from that $50 million Comedy Central deal, Cat didn't even discuss Dave. Instead, he talked about his own experience of turning down some big money offers and invites to Diddy parties because they came with some strings attached.
The one comedian that we've been sitting here doing this interview that you hold in very high regard is Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle walked away from $50 million. You said it was more. Tell the story.
That's right. Yeah,
right.
That wasn't the thing. It wasn't. People say that. He lost $50 million. No, that's not even close to what happened to this dude. And until you understand what happened to the dude, you don't understand what happened. Like, no, not they offered him $50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
But even though Cat showed Dave nothing but respect, Dave got all defensive and he fired back at Cat during one of his stand-up sets, claiming that Cat only targets other black comedians and projects his issues on other people. And while Dave acknowledged that Cat is one of the best in the game, he then turned around and accused him of dragging his black comedy peers and making them look bad.
He only eats the He didn't say anything about any of these white boys. And none of these white boys function like that. And Cat is one of the best painters in the game. Stop. And Cat hurt people, but I'm a hurt person that never hurt people. And he does it all the time. This one and that one and this one. But anything that you did wrong. You didn't do nothing wrong? I'm gonna bring a black guy. Cat did this to me. Cat was talking about that did to other but not about anything that did to him. If I told my story, it would break your heart. I lost everything and never, ever told on anybody.
But Dave's shady comments about Cat definitely ruffled some feathers, and fans weren't having it, quickly clapped back, pointing out that Cat made it clear in that Club Shay Shay interview that this isn't about black versus white. It's about whether you're on God's side or that other side.
Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. Takes any of them, all lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
But hold up, we also have to talk about that Diddy link, because here's where things get even messier. So when Dave finally broke his silence on the whole Diddy drama in his SNL monologue back in January, he denied going to Diddy parties and claimed he never even got the invites.
A lot of my friends ask me, they say, Dave, did you know anything about those freak off parties? And I'll be like, nah, man. I didn't know anything about the freak off. And they all look at me like, and they be like, well, how all these people you know was at the freak off, but she's the only one that wasn't at the freak off. And I thought about it for a minute. I said, oh my God. I'm ugly. They didn't call me though, because the stories that come out about it are crazy. I saw one thing on the internet, so I'm not sure this is true. Probably doubt it's true, but I saw it. Some guy who said he knew Puff was like, yeah, man. He's like, I was at the freak off one time and I went in the back room and Puff was in there with Carl Winslow, with Dad from Family Matters. He was smashing and I was like, Puff, What are you doing?
Now, no one's denying that Dave Chappelle still knows how to land a joke, and his timing and delivery are as sharp as ever. But fans are starting to say that Dave's playing it safe these days. Instead of challenging the real power players, he's punching down and going after easy targets. Sure, he'll throw a few jokes at Diddy, but he won't go near the bigger questions. Like how Diddy managed to get away with this for so long, who was backing him, and why the system kept protecting him. It's not just about Diddy being a freak. There's a whole network behind this mess, and Dave's silence on that part isn't sitting right with a lot of folks. But this next part is where it gets really weird. In April 2022, shortly before Diddy got that Lifetime Achievement Award from BET, the Daily Mail caught Diddy having dinner with none other than Dave Chappelle. According to the Mail, Dave and Diddy were in a good mood and laughing the whole time, and they even left in the same car. So the timing's pretty wild, because this dinner date took place just months before Cassie's lawsuit dropped. And how did Dave, of all people, even end up hanging with Diddy like that? It was a huge plot twist, especially knowing how Dave used to clown Diddy during his Chappelle Show era. And even Jaguar Wright has something to say about this. And she alleged that after Dave walked away from that $50 million deal and disappeared to Africa, Hollywood handlers tracked him down. And according to Jaguar, Dave hasn't really been the same since.
Came and told him, and the next thing you know, he said he went to Africa and he ain't been the same since he came back.
Oh, I did see that, yeah. He said he was there the day that happened.
And I'm gonna tell you something right now. From the second that I saw Dave Chappelle on SNL doing shush shush to Kanye West, I wondered too. Just like I still wonder about Kevin Hart.
Oh, and get this. During a recent interview with Big Boy that barely made headlines, Kanye also came for Dave Chappelle and accused him of being a handler. Kanye said that once he started calling out the people who control the music industry and keep artists locked into bad deals, the big bosses sent their usual suspects to shut him down. And according to Ye, those people were Diddy, Dave Chappelle, and Meek Mill.
So far past any level of acknowledgement. You know, I was banished, I was exiled, I was canceled multiple times. So what, I done had like my kids that show up to Sunday service right in front of everybody, and you know what I mean? Like I'm crying to see my daughter, and all of the usual suspects, the handlers, Dave Chappelle, Meek Mills, Diddy, all these people aren't in position. And for us as celebrities, they gotta call and put a leash on them. What we gonna do with Ye? Oh, he delusional, that's the best. Dave, give him a call. Diddy, give him a call. Tell him we ain't like the t-shirt. Tell him like right now the agenda is This is the voting agenda for the celebrities, for the black. Make them do exactly what LeBron would do. Make them do exactly what Drake would do. And y'all know my stance on this. I want to say something about the number one. What's so good is the up here. And for everybody that's working at a normal job, like a fast food restaurant, or somebody girlfriend that left them for more money, or whatever the it is, all do is just like pull up in that so they can pull it right in front of this bitch and be like, you. Mm-hmm. Now I just pulled up on everybody from last year cancellation, like, oh, you.
Amen. Was that where the social media, I don't know if was it a tweet that you had put up?
And that's why a lot of fans are now looking sideways at both Dave and Martin and wondering if they switched sides somewhere along the way. People are confused about how they went from being loud anti-industry voices to looking like part of the system and going on dinner dates with Diddy. But I want to know what you think. Do you believe Dave and Martin were really clueless about what Diddy was up to, and that's why they stayed quiet? Or do you think there's more to the story and maybe they're compromised too? Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't miss this next story.